Welcome back to Bite Off More Than You Can Chew. I'm your host and guest for today, Dane Seville, Director of Brand Experience at Search Lab Digital. And today is going to serve as sort of a reality check because look, if you feel like you're constantly behind the changing search landscape, you're simply being honest. You're often hearing that AI is the search these days. While that is true for traditional search, local search is still a little bit different. However, it's quickly moving in the same direction. The important thing is that you're not jumping on every shiny object at the same time. You need to let go of those years-old tactics like their vintage vinyl. So let's dive in and cut right through the noise. And you'll notice I'm going to largely refer to Google. But if you look at the data, Google's still dominating search. Google, there's a correlation between using AI systems and still coming back to Google. And ChatGPT, shown in studies, uses Google's index for grounded searches when it needs to find answers that don't meet a confidence threshold. And other search engines are not going to diverge far from Google's approach anyway. Let's kind of break things down. What's different? What's the same? What can we do about it? Let's discuss what's different. Even if it's not exactly local search, but searches where AI systems will cite local businesses, such as someone comparing a Ford to a Chevy. It's not exactly local, but oftentimes when local dealerships have content that addresses searches like that, they'll get cited. The visual reality here. What are the things customers are seeing, right? For high funnel, and I can't talk, high funnel and mid funnel searches, when you open your browser and conduct a search, the 10 blue links simply are just buried under an AI overview. But then in addition to that, they're often buried under and broken up by a half dozen other search results features like people also ask and video packs, image packs, discussions in forum, short form video packs, people are saying, and the blue links now include Reddit and YouTube and Facebook. So things are really changing. It's a whole new ecosystem, even just beyond just AI. And these systems, even the search algorithm we've been accustomed to the last few years, aren't just keyword matching. They're synthesizing context. They're considering intent and history. They're providing a deeper match on pattern detection to form a generative answer that you can dig through. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that these generative answers aren't just giving a brief response to the explicit search. They're diving further into providing information that's implicitly important to the explicit search. The AI wants to find those snippets, those nuggets of true value. And if you're writing 3,000-word blog posts that have 3-paragraph exposition that sets up getting to the answer, the AI just won't cite you. Remember, all of this crawling, traditional, local, or AI, it all has a finite budget to find what it needs. And keep in mind that Google's even drawn back on how much it's going to leverage in terms of lending time and resources to digging into those data points. Let's talk about how AI systems even move faster. Because in addition to the crawling, the finding of answers, they then have to analyze, synthesize, and give the output. And all of this has led to zero-click search, which I'm sure you've heard about ad nauseum. It's the new normal. For most informational queries, the user never leaves the search page, but these outputs are opportunities to build your brand awareness. The shopper is seeing you in the outputs as citations. It's seeing your name, seeing your logo. And this also gives you an opportunity to capture what few, which hopefully will be more highly motivated shoppers, to click through. So things are different, right? Things are changing with how users are going to interact with search systems, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever it might be, Google. So AI, traditional search, things are changing rapidly. But not everything's different for local. How about what's the same? And for local search, it's largely what people are accustomed to seeing. A local pack, blue links, and other but fewer search features. I'm actually still finalizing a months-long study of Google AI overviews. And what I found is that AI overviews for transactional searches that have a clear local and local purchase intent, they have increased from 3% last May to between 5 to 10% in the past 2 months. Now, the caveat to that, right? The reason there's a range, 5 to 10%, is that Google applies AI overviews differently in different markets. Such as here in Pensacola, a smaller town, there are fewer competitors for various products and services. So Google delivered more overviews to provide a summary that gave alternatives, even if they're outside of being quote unquote local. Whereas in Dallas, where there's plenty of competition, overviews populated far less frequently and delivered the general blue links and local packs we're used to. Also, in all types of searches, from low funnel to high funnel across all markets, the top 3 natively shown citations and overviews were also in the top 10 positions, an average of 60% of the time for transactional searches, 57% for commercial searches, and 62% for informational searches. That, by data, demonstrates a strong correlation between ranking better and being cited. So, knowing what's different, knowing what's the same, and where things are going, what conclusion can we come to? Well, fundamentals still matter. Technical SEO is as important as ever. Page speed, internal linking, making sure you don't have a bunch of redirects, creating efficiencies for crawling and indexing, for findability. Metadata needs clarity and conciseness. You need to make sure that what you're putting in your title tags, your headings, your context, your alt text, everything is building towards relevance around the topic that page is covering. Content needs to be structured based on intent and needs to anticipate further consumer questions even before they think to ask them. 8 principles. In a world where AI can generate 1 million how-to and 1 million overview articles in hours, experience and expertise are your moats as experts in your industry. Search systems want to see real credentials, real-world results, real understanding, and real helpfulness. So how do you measure this? Knowing that you're not getting blue links but brand mentions, what can you do to track? In lieu of an official Google product tracking mentions and citations, like how it does searches and average position and traffic, etc., through Search Console and analytics, there are some things to do. I'd first suggest that you have clean conversion data. This is important because nothing demonstrates effectiveness in a world of search and generative answers that get no clicks than people choosing to come to your website and calling, submitting a form, chatting, or if you're e-commerce, making a purchase. I believe that using Search Console and tracking branded search will be sort of a tangential metric that over time can demonstrate an increase in brand awareness via citations. Direct traffic to your website, people just typing your website domain into the URL, or the URL into the search bar, I think direct traffic will be important. Dane D. Tomaso came up with a regex that allows you to track traffic coming to your site from other referral platforms like ChatGPT. And there are emerging tools like Otterly and Profound that are worth testing for yourself. I know there are a lot of prominent folks in SEO and digital marketing who are already amplifying the value of these new platforms, and I would suggest, such as I am beginning to do, demoing these tools and determining the value for yourself. But what about multi-location brands? That's different than a single point store, right? I want to pivot here real quick to my multi-location folks. If you're managing a franchise or a regional brand, the AI landscape has created something sort of like a confidence gap, right? In the old days, if you were the closest plumber, you usually showed up in the map pack. Today, AI assistants, Gemini, Perplexity, etc., they're more selective. They don't just look at proximity, they look at consistency. If your hours are 9 to 5 on your website, but 8 to 4 on your Google business profile, and a random Yelp review says you're closed on Tuesdays, but nothing else suggests that, the AI loses confidence. And an unconfident AI will likely either hallucinate an answer or simply not include you in an answer, simply not recommend you. So for multi-location brands, what we'll call entity governance is the new sort of local SEO. You need to ensure that every digital footprint of every location is clear, consistent, and correct. The AI is reading your reviews too. It's looking for specific information and feedback you're getting, right? Whether it's best gluten-free crust or fastest check-in. It's trying to use various contextual signals and clues across various digital assets, not just on your website, but assets everywhere that include your information, that verify who you are and what you do and unique selling propositions. It's trying to decide if you're the right answer for a specific user's intent. So let's take a breath. Let's lower the blood pressure for a second, right? What should you stop stressing about? First, raw traffic volume. Yeah, we can write a blog to get you 10,000 sessions, but so what? If your sessions are down 15% compared to last year, don't panic. Look at your conversions, right? That was the first thing I said about what do you still want to track? Conversions. If the AI is answering sort of the window shoppers aspect on the SERP and only sending the ready to buy people to your site, your traffic should be lower, but your conversions and ultimately revenue should be higher. Second, rankings. And this has been something here at Search Lab we've talked about for years now of don't worry about rankings. Number one, AI systems don't rank. In 2026, right, the SERP is dynamic. It changes based on the user's previous questions. Checking your rank for a single keyword is like trying to measure the height of a wave while you're standing in the ocean. It's more of a vanity metric, right? It has its role. And you can use it to make some strategic decisions, but it should not be the only thing you look at in a silo to determine is what we're doing successful. Ranking for a single keyword leaves out the many, many, many varieties of how people are actually searching beyond just that keyword. So you can focus on things like brand share of voice in AI summaries instead, which you can start getting perspective with using those various tools that I kind of briefly mentioned. And there's others out there that are now touting this ability to track. So those really are the two things to really stop worrying about. I guess maybe the third and final would be stop worrying about the latest shiny object. Work on your fundamentals. Shore up your technical SEO skills. Understand how to build out content. Know how to use AI systems to help you expedite brainstorming and ideating and putting together a plan. So you can use AI systems to help you with some of these things. But you can't rely on AI to give you SEO sort of strategies, right? It can't do that. So don't use AI for that. Use AI to supplement your SEO skills and give you some validation, right? I've used ChatGPT to help me with schema markup, and then of course validate it, right? I don't just I want to trust but verify. So again, don't chase the shiny tools. Use some of the tried and true tools to shore up your current skills. The crux of it is this: AI's here. The robots are here. They're not coming, right? It's everything is different, right? But these systems are just librarians. It's up to you to be the most organized, the most efficient, the most expert, the most consistent book on the shelf, and they will keep picking you. The landscape has changed, but the goal hasn't. Be the best answer for your customer. So this is the point where I ask my guest the most difficult question they'll ever get in any interview. Naming a great place to eat for our viewers to check out. Should they be in the city where that restaurant is located? And I would like to identify Esther's Kitchen in Las Vegas. It's off the strip, so you get away from the hustle and bustle and the chaos of the strip. You go inside. There's a little speakeasy up the stairs to the left from the sort of hostess booth. And the cocktails, you just tell them what mood you're in, and if you like citrus forward or sweet or tangy or sour or whatever it might be, and they just make a drink based on your mood and what you like. But then you get downstairs, and the food, it's Italian food. It is absolutely phenomenal. So check out Esther's Kitchen. In fact, I'll give me 1 second. I should have thought about this before I started recording. It is on. Thank you, Google. And I got my traditional search result page. It's on 1131 South Main Street in Las Vegas. Check it out. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button. And let's join up again next time to take a bite out of more than we can chew. Have a great day, everyone.